Welcome to our 2019 Year in Review. What a massive year it's been, and it feels to me like it's actually galloped past in about 5 minutes. We are now working with almost 350 companies in the Australian cybersecurity sector, and through the year we've worked really hard with those companies to be growing them through great contracts, both here but also internationally, and also attracting new investors into their world and making sure that those investments are the right kinds of investments to help them really grow. We've got a huge number of those 350 odd companies that are really now moving out of the early stage of their growth and into the scaling up phase. That's a significant win for the maturing of our sector. Through the year, we also officially launched 2 more nodes. We launched the Sydney node and the Canberra node. And of course, we'll take a bit of a giggle at the Canberra node being officially launched this year because, of course, they did start operating as our first node back in 2017. But it is always good to have an official launch to make sure that the rest of the economy knows what's happening. And we've got so many more node openings to come next year. So for the remainder of this financial year, watch out for some of those. I'm very excited that we will be launching Queensland next year. We've also had a huge amount of activity in our programs. We launched this year the AustCyber All-Stars program, and we've had great interest in that particular program, particularly around the activities that we did in cybersecurity investment with Alex van Someren from the UK, and also looking at the role of threat casting in cybersecurity strategy development and implementation. And that was with Brian David Johnson. We also launched the AustCyber Sessions, enabling a whole range of new companies to be able to join that AustCyber family. And we've done that around most locations of the country, and we'll continue to do those through the year as well. For the 3rd year in a row, we had Cyber Week in October, and we did that in partnership with a range of different organisations, including the Australian Information Security Association with CyberCon. But we also had a couple of new events this year, including RSA Unplugged. Really proud to have worked with RSA conferences globally to have brought that event to the Southern Hemisphere for the first time. And that was a hugely popular event. We also, of course, had the National Missing Persons Hackathon. And what an amazing response we had to that really important event. And we're looking forward to hearing from our friends in the police forces as to whether or not we got a result. We also had a huge amount of uptick in our programs that we run with our fellow growth centres in other growth sectors around the economy, providing a significant uplift in the amount of cybersecurity understanding in other sectors of the economy. This was in particular around some work that we did with the Advanced Manufacturing Growth Centre in our role that we have with them on the Advanced Manufacturing Forum around Industry 4.0. We also worked really closely with METS Ignited to have a look at the role of cybersecurity and cyber maturity in the mining and technology sectors. And we had some great insights come from those pieces of work, which we'll seek to implement next year. It was another big year for the AustCyber Projects Fund. We had a series of projects out of our first round come to conclusion, and already we've produced a series of information that's available around what the outcomes of those projects have been. And there's much more to come as well. The impacts of those projects have been significant across the spectrum of jobs growth, revenue growth, but impacts for the nation around capabilities that are now being deployed across the economy. We launched round 2 of the Projects Fund as well. And within that, we're getting very, very close to making a series of phone calls to the successful parties in their projects as they applied to not only the sector competitiveness plan's knowledge priorities, but also for the first time in our process, the sector priorities. This time around, we improved the process to be able to have sector challenges that fill gaps in the knowledge infrastructure that supports the growth of our sector. This includes a whole range of areas such as measuring the impact of cyber innovation right through to being able to have repeatable and scalable infrastructure for skills and education. So we'll be making some phone calls just before Christmas to let those people know whether or not they've been successful. And that will be another $8.5 million that we're injecting into the economy to help make sure the cybersecurity sector grows and grows with the right kinds of smarts. Happy 2019, and we look forward to 2020. It is game on.